Back in 2014, a white paper dropped that completely changed the game. It laid out this radical new vision for what a blockchain could be. We're not just talking about digital cash anymore. We're talking about a decentralized world computer. Today, we are diving deep into that original Ethereum white paper.
All right, so here's our roadmap. We're going to start with the tech that made all this possible in the first place, Bitcoin. Then we'll get into the limitations that sparked this whole new idea, see how Ethereum's world computer concept actually works, and finally, we'll look at the incredible new digital world it was designed to build. Let's get into it. So, when Satoshi Nakamoto unleashed Bitcoin, everyone, and I mean everyone, got obsessed with the idea of digital money without a bank. But hidden inside that incredible invention was a second, and you could argue much more powerful idea.
Yeah, the first idea, decentralized money, totally stole the show. But it's that second idea that is the real magic here. Think about it, a system that lets anyone anywhere agree on a sequence of events without needing a middleman. That concept? Well, that's the foundation for literally everything we're going to talk about today.
The white paper uses this term, a state transition system. It sounds kind of technical, but it's actually pretty simple. Imagine a global spreadsheet of who owns what. That's the state. A transaction comes in, say I send you 1 Bitcoin. The system applies that transaction and boom, we have a new updated state. Bitcoin's breakthrough was creating a way for the entire world to agree on every single one of those state changes.
Now, as revolutionary as Bitcoin was, it was built for one main job. And that laser focus meant it had some very specific, very intentional limitations.
The best way to picture this is with an analogy. Bitcoin is like a calculator. It is fantastic at what it does, adding and subtracting value between people securely. But what if you wanted to do more? What if you wanted to write a story, or play a game, or build something totally new? You can't do that on a calculator. And this is really the heart of the what-if problem. The white paper points out these 4 big roadblocks. First, you couldn't do loops, which makes complex programs almost impossible. Then there's value blindness, meaning a script couldn't even check how much Bitcoin it was handling. And without state, without memory, every transaction was a one-and-done deal. It couldn't remember what happened before. Now, these weren't bugs. They were designed that way for security. But for developers with bigger dreams, it was a brick wall. So you have this incredibly powerful idea, but it's locked inside a calculator. This wasn't just a minor issue, it was fundamental. And this is right where the Ethereum white paper steps in with a truly elegant and powerful solution.
This sentence right here, this is the whole thing. The aha moment. The insight was just brilliant. Don't try to build a better calculator. Don't try to cram new features onto the old, limited system. Instead, build a whole new foundation, a platform where anyone can build anything.
And this brings us right back to that analogy. If Bitcoin is the perfect single-purpose calculator, Ethereum was designed from the ground up to be the general-purpose smartphone. It doesn't just do one thing. It's an operating system for an entire ecosystem of decentralized apps, or dApps, that anyone can create and upload.
That fancy term for this smartphone capability is Turing complete. Look, all it really means is that the system is computationally universal. It can run loops, it can handle complex if-then logic. Basically, if you can program it on your computer, you can, in theory, program it on Ethereum. This is what blew the doors wide open for developers.
Okay, so a world computer sounds amazing. But how does it actually function? How do you keep it running smoothly and prevent people from attacking it?
Well, the apps on this new platform are called smart contracts. You can think of them as little programs that live on the blockchain. They're like these cryptographic vending machines. You put money in, and if you meet the right conditions written in its code, it automatically executes its function, no human needed.
So to make all this work, Ethereum did things a bit differently than Bitcoin. It uses accounts, kind of like a bank. You have your personal account controlled by you, and then you have contract accounts, which are controlled by their own code. But the absolute killer innovation here is gas. See, since the system is Turing complete, what stops me from writing a program with an infinite loop and just crashing the whole network? Gas does. Every single computational step costs a tiny bit of this gas. If your program runs too long, it just runs out of gas and stops. It's a brilliant way to protect the whole system.
And here's how it all fits together when you send a transaction. The network checks it, takes out the estimated gas fee, and then it tries to run the code. Now, step 4 is absolutely crucial. If anything goes wrong, if the code has a bug or it runs out of gas, everything it just did gets reverted.
It's like it never happened. This makes the system incredibly safe and robust for people to build on.
So, with this incredibly powerful, flexible new platform, what did the white paper actually imagine people would build with it? Well, the vision was just huge.
It started with the low-hanging fruit, creating new digital assets. With just a handful of code, suddenly anyone could create their own custom currency, or a token that represents a share in a company, or even the deed to a house.
From there, the vision blew up into what we now know as DeFi, or decentralized finance. The paper was already talking about building complex financial tools like derivatives or stablecoins that could just run on their own, completely cutting out the traditional gatekeepers. But the ambition didn't stop at finance, not even close. The white paper pictured decentralized versions of things we use every single day, like a peer-to-peer file storage network. You could rent out your extra hard drive space to someone else, all managed by a smart contract.
And then there was maybe the most mind-bending idea of all, the DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. This was the concept of a virtual company that just lives on the blockchain. Its rules, its voting, its money, all managed transparently by its code.
And that was honestly just scratching the surface. The paper just kept going, listing a whole universe of ideas. New systems for identity, for online voting, peer-to-peer gambling, prediction markets, even decentralized cloud computing. It was a true explosion of possibility.
And that really is the main takeaway. Ethereum was never meant to be just one thing. It was designed to be the foundational layer, the bedrock that thousands of other protocols could be built on top of, by anyone, for pretty much any purpose. The leap from a single-use tool to a general-purpose platform was finally complete.
Which leaves us with a big question the white paper kind of posed to all of us. For the first time ever, the internet had a built-in, programmable layer for value and ownership. The paper gave us the toolbox, but the story of what we're all going to build with it, well, that story is still being written.